Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashim Yahshua, Bashim Kadash. I give double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who were well, and peace and blessings to the elect. Now, this is actually a video I came across yesterday, but there was an issue, there was some kind of issue with the sound. But anyway, I'll try again today, Lord willing. Everything's good today. But anyway, getting straight into the video. Cost of pricing, prices of cheapest food surge. Now that's an indication of what? Inflation, because that is suggesting that foods that you could once get for, say, throwing a number out there, 50p, it may cost a few pounds now, just as a number so you can get an idea. So a reason for why things like that happen is when certain supplies or quantity for certain things are not as in they don't really have that much of it as they once did. So in order to meet their same margins and whatnot, they say, okay, we have to increase the prices. No, we've heard about issues with suppliers being impacted, since the end of 2019, I should say, going into 2020, and in the indication of us seeing like this video right now is that we're soon gonna start to feel the effects of it, because fair enough, they may have had different things in warehouses and whatnot, but things run out, things rot, and sooner or later you will feel the impacts of what happened, because you heard people high in the supply chain, they were talking about, hey, this is a clear and pressing issue, and people who don't look into that kind of stuff, and people who aren't really in that world, because fair enough, you may not be in there, but you may do a lot of research. But you have people who are not in that world and don't like to do the research, so they stay ignorant to it. So at the last possible second, that's when they're gonna be scrambling and they're gonna be panicking. But they're gonna remember, who was, you had certain people that were talking about, because even truthers, they be one about this. Hey, stack upon tin and this kind of stuff. Now, there's nothing wrong with stacking up on a few things, but you ultimately have to realize that you stacking up on it, you hoarding, I don't even know the right word to use, but you get the idea. You stacking up on food is not going to be what delivers you, because a situation could happen where your house gets robbed, or you have to run because there's personnel after you. There's a whole bunch of different things. It's ultimately the Lord who is going to deliver you. That's why we have to put our trust in him. But anyway, Salakia, going into the video now.
Cost of the cheapest food on the market is rising proportionally faster than other things, making it even tougher for those really struggling. Well, the Office for National Statistics have had a closer look to ask if that's true. Have a look at this. This is a broad overview of what they found. That blue line at the top there, that shows the rate of price rises for all food and soft drinks that are usually used when calculating inflation. But remember, that covers a huge range of things, including...
As you can see here, for those of you who may not have looked carefully, they've got the time period. As you can see here, they said this is the baseline I'm guessing it started from, and they're showing you how much is increasing this time period. So you're not taking something into account, because it may feel like it's not really gone up that much, but the difference, if I'm a brother can correct me on this, but the difference between inflation and hyperinflation is the rate that it happens at. Because hyperinflation, like taking into, like, for example, what happened in Germany at one point, like food, you had food basically doubling, you just went up, and there's literally, you'd write a note, but the note, it'd be so much, because the value of the currency was just nothing, man. But anyway,
including expensive items like steak and seafood, things that people really struggling are probably unlikely to be buying. So they've also had a look at a more specific group of products. That's the red line. It essentially shows price increases of the cheapest versions of 30 real everyday staples. And look, as you can see, the two actually rose in quite similar stead with each other. Budget items by 6%, overall 6.7%. In essence, it shows cost rises are just as bad for the cheaper products, but not worse. There's a real discrepancy between items too. Here are just 10 of the 30 things that were surveyed. Have a look. You can see big rises for some things fell away, albeit fewer things. There are actually a total of 10 budget items that rose by over 10%, which is well above the average across the products. And there are a few real outliers. Look at this. Budget pasta up 50%.
up 50%. And minced beef is up 16%. So for those of you who may not be good at maths, or for those of you who are good at maths, just to make a point here, 50%, you gotta realize that's 50% on top of the 100%. So this is increased by this is increased by 1.5 times. And the minced beef, this is 16% on top of the original amount. And when you 50%, you gotta realize 50% is half of the original amount. So wait a minute. So half the original amount on top of the half the original amount on top of the original amount. That's the price of what they say in the pasta is costing, or what the pasta will cost. And the price of minced beef is increased as well.
And budget minced beef is up 16%. Not good news at all if spag bowl is one of your staples. And some items have fallen in price too. Look, budget potatoes down by 14% and cheese down by 7%. But the reality...
Yeah, fair enough, ultimately, you may have some goods that are falling, but all this is, this is just this is the Lord showing you, like a preview of, hey, you took your eyes off for a second. This is what they're saying. Okay, things could quote unquote stabilize, but hey, if the Lord says there's gonna be a famine, there's gonna be a famine. And believe me, listen, you don't know how fast it's gonna, you don't know you don't know the speed that's gonna come out of you. It could happen gradually, or it could happen fast, just to catch the people off guard. I personally don't know how the Lord will do this, but it's important that we watch the prophecies, man, because remember the scripture said, hold on, Ezekiel 4:16. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, behold, I will break the stuff of bread in Jerusalem, and they shall eat bread by weight and with care, and they shall drink water by measure and with astonishment. So in other words, because of the severity of the famine, and because of how scarce food may be and whatnot, what this is going into is them having to heavily ration the food and the water. So you may have this bread, and people might be like, okay, so we're gonna have to eat this and this bit of bread, and you may have to have this and something else, and then we have to save, no, we have to save this for tomorrow. This is all we can have for today, just like that, just to chop it down to a quote unquote sense. But it's gonna be on a whole different level, man. The famine is going. The famine is just gonna. Listen, we can we can easily talk about it, but the famine, Jacob's trouble is gonna surpass what we can describe, because we can say, oh, it's something straight out of a horror movie, but we can describe it based on what the scriptures say, but man, it's gonna be something else. But anyway, back to the video.
still holds that even if the items themselves are rising at the same rate, poorer households will be hit harder by those rises. That's partly because those people have less disposable income, but it's also because of this. This shows the population split up into 10 parts by income. And look, the richest 10% over here, they're experiencing inflation of about 7.9%, but the poorest tenth over here, look, much higher, experiencing inflation of around 11%. This research also found there's a big difference in cost between the lowest value items and the next lowest cost versions. It really shows how careful less well-off shoppers are needing to be.
Okay, that looks like it's the end of the video. Let me see if there's any closing presets I can get. I'll close out on this one. 22nd verse, 2nd Ezra 16 and 22. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and others that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. Now, you gotta understand how slow, torturous death is. A famine really is. It's not it's not quick and fast like you may have an injection. To be honest, I'm not an expert on the injections, but I don't think they take that long, because I think they used to use them on death row, and also like a gun may be fairly, you may get shot and you may die fairly quick, or you may get stabbed a whole bunch of times, you may die fairly quick. But when it comes to famine, you're in agony, if, like, you're losing weight, down to skin and bones, you're crying because you just feels like torture, because you're not able to get what your body's crying out for. So those are serious times approaching. But anyway, I didn't want to make this too long. In closing, I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Bashim Kakadas. Pray that this lesson was edifying and exhorting. Until next time, Shalom.